All right. Well, hello, all these beautiful faces. It is Monday, July 21st, and this is a special call for everyone that earned the 9% bonus level in their business by the 15th of July. So I'm really, really proud. There's some people that did that for the very first time this month, and I mean, it's a big deal showing up. So, I just want to give a really quick introduction and kick it on over. When I was thinking of something special for this group, because we have this chat every month, to me, when I think of someone that's earning 9% period, that's someone that is probably already knowing the basics of the business. You show up and now you want to do a little more. And so I was thinking of someone that I got to know over the last, gosh, I would say I heard her name for the first time in 2020, but she actually joined the industry in 2017. And I got to watch Tamara like show up for her business and do amazing things. And it became inspirational to me because that is how I know the industry to work. Like she came in with no experience in direct sales, but just learned and did the tools and showed up in different ways every single day, and it's not like crazy things, but she just did the basics and her energy and everything. So my biggest thing is like, let's get inside Tam's head. And so that's what we're going to do tonight. And I'm going to go ahead and kick it over to her. I'm super excited.
Thank you for that introduction. I hope you all don't regret Brittany asking for everybody to get in my head because it can be a crazy place sometimes, but that's part of the fun, right? Okay, so Brittany, do I hit the green share button to share my screen? Okay, bear with me, guys. Okay, let's see. Um, make this bigger. How does that look for you guys? Okay, all right, good. Because I know if I mess with it, it's gonna go away. So, okay, get in Tam's head. This was interesting. Like when Brittany approached me about this, I thought, you know what? This kind of forces me to figure out how I approach each day because at the beginning, I really locked in, and I'll tell you about my story in just a little bit. For those of you who don't know me, I know a lot of us come from the same world, but many of us have also joined with Brittany because she's a rock star and she attracts so many different amazing people. So I'm going to act like nobody knows me. So what you're going to see in this presentation is how I approach each day, every month, and tackle my goals. So as Brittany said, cheers to you for being here and putting in the hard work to not only hit 9%, but hit 9% by mid-month. Honestly, be proud of yourselves, you
I hate
guys.
to interrupt, but it
Oh,
actually says audience window. This window is what your audience sees. So we see that black sticker on the screen.
oh, wait, okay. Oh, enter full screen.
There we
There,
go. Perfect.
better. Okay,
All
thank
right,
you.
there we go.
Okay. All right, here we go. So could you please all drop in the chat? And I gotta see if I can find the chat. What percentage you're at right now? Because, we're the 15th is already 6 days ago. I would love to hear if anybody has promoted since then, crawled up a rank or two. Let's see. I'm opening up. I do see the chat. 15, 15. Awesome job, you guys. 9% all the way up to 50, 22, 25. That's great. Good job. That means you're still working it. That means that you have momentum. I'm going to probably talk about a lot of momentum. So I saw this quote and I knew it just like summarized my brain. The future belongs to the consistent, not the most talented, not the luckiest, but the ones who show up even when it's hard. Effort never betrays you. I gotta make sure. There we go. Keep showing up, right? All right. So, who are you? We're going to get out your pens and papers here and just like a little action because everybody learns differently, but I know for a fact in anything we do, it makes it more real when we put down a pen. Oop, somebody has control of the screen, Brittany. Maybe not. Is that me? Anyway, so why don't you write down some traits about yourself, okay? I want you to think of yourself overall as a leader, as a person, as you are, like if you're a mama, if you are a wife, like personality traits, just go ahead and jot down words that just come to mind. What kind of energy you have, anything, really anything. What summarizes you? Okay? I'm just gonna give you like 60 seconds because we're going to come back to this later. Okay, I'm going to move on to the next thing and you can catch up, or as I keep babbling, you can keep writing things down as you think of it. All right, now, whoa, what is going on with this? Was that me?
Yeah, no one should have access.
We're not even touching the screen. Um,
Make sure it's not me.
let's see. It says draw on page. Can I erase on page? Yep, I can. Here we go. Okay, perfect. Okay, goals. Write down your dream goal with pharmacy, okay? This is sometimes people call it your why, sometimes people call it like, and write down what that means for you. So what are your big goals? And there's no right or wrong answer, okay? Because we're all here for different reasons. We all have different purposes with direct sales, but I'm going to guess for those of you who are in this call right now, you're showing up to this business, you're taking an evening away from your life and your family, and you're here. I'm pretty sure you're pretty motivated. So write down your dream goal and then write down what that means for you. Like, so for example, if you're writing down a particular title or rank, what would that mean for you if you hit that? Does that mean like financial freedom? Does that mean more time with my family? Does that mean, um, like, and as we go through this training, I kind of want you to think about this as like what you wrote down, think about how this might evolve, okay? Like, or maybe if you're here, that means you've already put in a lot of work. Do you remember what your first goal was with pharmacy? Or if you're new to direct, or if you're in direct sales for a while, what was your original goal? I tell you, mine has definitely evolved over the years. And that's just growth, right? That's totally part of growth. But again, when you write it down and you really process it and you think about it, it makes it real. Okay. All right. On a scale, this one's where we get tough. We're getting real in this presentation, okay? On a scale of 1 to 10, be honest with yourself. How satisfied are you with your own personal efforts towards your pharmacy business? And why did you rate yourself at that number? Give you a minute. And again, we're going to come back to this at the end. No right or wrong reason. This is not make anybody feel bad or anything. Like life gets in the way, not in the way, it's just life. That's the beauty of this business, right? Is that we get to mold, like this business molds to our life. So even if you're like a 6 right now, that's okay. That's okay. Don't be down on yourself. We always have room for growth. All right, moving on. All right, who am I? So, a little bit about myself. Like Brittany said, I joined direct sales in 2017. I did not start working my business until 2020. And that is because I did not have a good mindset when I came into the direct sales industry. I was a victim of, oh, direct sales, that's phony. In fact, I just got an Amazon box today that had a selfie stick in it. And Conrad looked at me and he goes, We used to make fun of people who use those selfie sticks. And, he's still making fun of people. And he goes, he's just laughing. Of course, he's very supportive of me. But that just goes to show I've very much evolved over these years because this is my business. This is what pays my bills. You're going to hear me say it before, no one else, or later, no one else is going to pay those bills for you. How hard are you working, right? So anyway, I'm getting distracted about Amazon, but so my history is I am a communications major. I took lots of marketing classes because it's in my family. I was in retail marketing for a while out of or retail management out of college. And then I worked at a country club as a membership director. And then I landed my dream big girl corporate job and went out to Washington, D.C. This was probably 2019. I loved it. It was amazing. I learned a lot and I learned how much I actually didn't like the corporate world. I took in DC for all it was worth. And I'm not saying, you're allowed to, everyone's allowed to have their opinion. I honestly like as much as I love being in DC, I did not like that job. And I thought it was my dream job, but it turns out like I'm so grateful for that experience. But thank goodness COVID hit and I lost that job. So I was working a really high level job out in Washington, D.C., and I was soon to be homeless and jobless because I could not afford to live in Washington, D.C. anymore and not have a job. And not to mention, it was really hard to get a job back then because it was COVID. And I was actually moving up to Canada because my partner was up in Canada at the time and I couldn't work up there. So I really truly was kind of forced into okay, at the time I was like I said I joined direct sales in the nail world back in 2017, but I was not working my business. Like I loved the products and I had a lot of fun with it, but I was not working my business. I did not have the right mindset. So I had to forget that what I was thinking about direct sales because I literally had a business opportunity at my fingertips and I had to dive in. I will never forget I had 3 months where I lived with my parents between that job and moving to Canada. And I was like, okay, I have to lock in. I have to put my head down. I watched all these trainings. I put pen to paper and I was determined to make direct sales work because I saw other people finding success with it. So if they could do it, why wouldn't I be able to do it, right? I knew it was going to be hard. I really, truly had to do a lot of self-coaching and forget what anybody may or may not be thinking of me because, again, they're not paying my bills. And I didn't have income at all after I lost my job. I mean, I had all the things you have car payments, groceries, rent, all those things. I had all of that, right? So I like this quote. True freedom isn't handed to us. It's carved out with courage, discipline, and relentless effort. Freedom is kept by those who refuse to quit. I would say that right now, this is my full-time job now. I would say that it has gained me a lot of freedoms, including, travel, making my own schedule. But have I slowed down? Absolutely not, because I want to continue this life of freedom. And if when you're in this business, you're going to hear me talking about energy and momentum. As soon as you slow down, your business is going to slow down, right? All right, so this is really fun. This is a full circle moment, okay? I will never forget in 2020 when I made that commitment to myself and I was locked into direct sales and I didn't know anybody. I maybe knew a few people from Instagram because I was following people who hashtagged my prior business, but I locked in to conference the first year that I was devoting energy to my business and our very own Brittany Metke Powers won the most prominent, prestigious, amazing award in the entire company. And I didn't know Brittany, but I knew they like you should have seen the presentation. And I learned this girl's humble, this girl's a hard worker, this girl loves her team, this girl is so dedicated. I want to be Brittany. I want to know Brittany. I want to emulate Brittany. And she didn't know it, but I was doing all those things. I was emulating her. I've looked up to Brittany since day one, and I kid you not, like this is truly full circle. little and it gives me chills. At the upper right corner, that was the first picture I took with Brittany, and I think it was the first one. We might have gotten, I went as far back in my camera roll as I could. And then the bottom right corner is us with pharmacy in Mexico for the trip we just earned. But so here's a little quote: "Nothing worth having is handed to us. The life you dream of is built, one bold step, one hard-earned win at a time." One hard-earned win at a time. Nothing's handed to us. Brittany, I mean, we could go on, and I will probably like use Brittany as an example a lot in this presentation because talk about resilient, talk about an example, right? And I looked up to her, and I wanted to set the pace with her. And throughout our whole career at our last company, Brittany was showing up. Brittany was always top in the charts, and Brittany's our leader. Like, follow her lead, and if you try to keep pace with her, you're gonna be in, you're gonna have the right momentum. So that's my mindset. Again, this is all getting into my head. All right, mindset is everything. No one else will do it for me. It's up to me and me alone. And that is the beauty of direct sales, right? It's freedom, but it's also you have to be responsible. You have to hold yourself accountable. You really have to commit and lock in. I remember when I got up to Canada, I had picked up some freelance work and I was doing some I had two jobs basically. I was trying to launch my full-time business with my prior company, but I that wasn't paying the bills yet because we don't all just jump in and get paid right away, right? It takes a lot of time, effort, and consistency. And I remember working with another company. I was doing marketing for them, and I just started gaining more momentum in direct sales, and I made a really hard decision. I had to give up that other job, and I'm not telling anybody to give up a job to devote, but I saw where my energy was going, and I saw the momentum that direct sales was taking me. And I really had to lock in, and I made a tough decision because I put my mindset towards direct sales. I chose to lock in. And, for me, I can't split my time between two different jobs because it was my dream. I knew what was possible with direct sales, I knew what it could unlock. And at the other job, I was listening to a boss and I had to show up for different things. And I didn't want that anymore, right? And again, everybody's here for different reasons. You're not me, we're not each other. This is just, you're getting in my brain, and maybe you'll relate to some things, maybe you won't. But think big. So on that note, I just want to remind you that this is a high level training. Like, you are here because you earn this, you show up, you work your business. My guess is your dreams are pretty big with pharmacy, right? So I want to just say that this is Tam's Tough Love because I care about you and I believe in you. I know what you are capable of. If you're here, that means you are capable of big things. Okay, so do it scared, learn as you go, but just go, right? So when I jumped into this industry, I really was like, I don't know anything. Like Brittany said, I didn't know anything. All I knew was what other people were doing. So I was like, I learned very messy. I really did. I got in trouble with compliance a few times and I learned very quickly, but I was moving forward. So I didn't really care. I was like, sorry, compliance, I won't do it again. And then I didn't do it again. Not saying don't follow compliance, but I know Brittany kind of has that same mindset. So I'm not going to worry about saying that, but please be compliant. Anyway, you don't have to have it all figured out. Just show up. The clarity comes from the doing. The growing happens in the mess. And it was messy for me. It's still for me. I don't always have it together, you know? We're always constantly growing and evolving. All right, just as a reminder, Brittany started at 0. I started at 0. All of you started at 0, but you're already at 9% or more, right? Just be proud of yourself for how far that you've come. But, don't, I wanted to put in there that comparison is the thief of joy. Don't forget that. Don't compare. You are writing your own story, okay? So, but I started at zero, but my mindset, I've always approached my business with an abundance mindset, okay? So even though I had nothing, I went in really big. I was like, I'm gonna be big. I'm gonna have a huge team, and my abundance mindset allowed me to like trick myself into thinking that I was bigger than I was. And there's lots of self-help books that are like self-development books that we could list off a million of them. I'm sure people could put them in the chat if you got a few. Feel free to share them while I'm talking. But there was one that I read that was like, imagine when you're working your business, like you're talking to a room full of people, like 1,000 people, even if you don't have anybody on your team, even if you don't have any customers, be so confident in your presentation to whoever, like when you're posting or when you're sharing in your stories or when you're going live. It might feel a little silly at first, but trust me, it's going to become more and more normal. So I acted like I had a big team. Even Brittany came in when we came into this. She's like, I didn't know that your team was only that size. Not that she was belittling me, but I made myself big because that's my mind. I want to go big, you know? Again, we all have different goals. Okay, so abundance mindset, shift from fear to faith, from comparison to confidence, right? Comparison is the thief of joy. Be confident in yourself. No one else is you. People love you because of who you are, you guys. Okay, abundance mindset. Thank you, ChatGPT, for this, but I had to put it all in because it's seriously such a good reminder. Abundance mindset is there's room for all of us at the top. A scarcity mindset is if she wins, I lose. And you can kind of look at this, you know, and I don't need to go through all of them. But the abundance mindset versus the scarcity mindset, you're going to hear me talk about the glass half full or half empty, right? It's all about mindset. Traits of abundance mindset. You celebrate others' wins instead of feeling threatened by them. And this is actually something that I like. It was easy to get in the like, oh, I'm not doing this fast enough, or wow, she's up there all the time, but I'll never be up there. You know, we all have those self doubts. We all have those conversations, those internal conversations. You have to work at an abundance mindset. It doesn't come easily, right? You have to coach yourself to think positively. Glass half full. You believe in collaboration over competition. If you're like over there on your own or you're working solo and you're not collaborating, you're going to move so slow compared to somebody who's linking arms with other people. And we have a phenomenal team here led by Brittany and so many other leaders. You guys are leaders. You're on this call, you're a leader. Think about that. We're all here together. We're sharing. You focus on possibilities, not limitations. You're grateful for what you have while staying open to more. You understand that growth takes time and trust the process. Growth takes time. Trust the process. That's a hard one, right? Sometimes, again, we're not moving quick enough. Are these relating to you guys? Put a one in the chat if you're feeling like you're relating to these things. And there's really good things in here too, right? Like if you have an abundance mindset, that means you're a leader. You are growing forward. And again, I put the quote down at the bottom again, shift from fear to faith, from comparison to confidence. You have to tell yourself, even if you're having a hard time believing it, just believe it. You have to tell yourself. Okay, here's where it gets a little like nitty-gritty, guys. I'm just going to tell you, this is my head. This is my head. This is how I approach every day. This is how I approach every month. This is how I approach every year. Since 2020, I haven't slowed down. Now, it doesn't mean I'm not human. I'll talk about it, but there are no rest days in direct sales. And yes, I've taken time off. Yes, I have put my phone down. Yes, of course, I have to recover. Sometimes, you know, if you're going through stuff with your family, life happens, you guys, but outside of those really, really hard days, even on the hard days, I'm still showing up. I'm still touching my business. Now, does that mean I'm going live or doing a reel or like not necessarily, but I'm messaging my team. I'm checking in with my leaders. I'm making sure, hey, if my head's not here, I know my leaders are going to take over, but I wouldn't be a good leader if I didn't check in with them, you know, and if it no one else will do it for me, it's up to me and me alone. So if I'm not showing up, that momentum is going to slow down. Momentum is everything. And think about it. Think about your own personal business in the last month or two. Was there a period where you kind of got distracted, away, pulled away from your business, and you were like, oh, I can really feel that like my customers aren't paying attention or my team is really disconnected? Anybody? Put a one in the chat again. Or maybe put a two because we just did once. Put a two. Put a two if you felt like you got pulled away. This is normal. It's normal, but as soon as you feel like my head, I'll wake up and I'll be like, oh, how do I fix this today? Like immediately I'm like, how do I hop back in? And I do panic. I panic in the best way possible because I want to keep growing. I want the momentum. I work hard, but I choose to work hard because I want this. I'm so hungry for it. How hungry are you, right? That's something I say all the time. How hungry are you? It's up to you. And Brittany is a perfect example of this, that there are no rest days. I mean, God bless you. Brittany has been through so much in the last however many months. I mean, with her kids and everything, but has Brittany ever taken a day away from us? That, you know, I mean, not saying again, you can't not be with your family, but I know she's touching her business every day, even when she has the hardest of days, because I'll get a message from her, you know, and that's her choice. That's coming from her heart. She does it because she feels so deeply. She cares about our team. She cares about this business. She cares about our success, right? And I'm going to talk about servant mindset later because that's a perfect example of servant mindset. It's not about Brittany. It's not about Brittany's success. It's about her truly caring for our development and our success. I mean, why did we even have this phone call? Because Brittany was thinking, gosh, how could the team benefit? You know? Um, all right, you are worth it. So all that hard work, all that showing up, all that continuing the momentum, your dreams and goals are achievable, you guys. Even when it feels like it's not, even when you feel like you're posting and you're talking and nothing's happening, trust me, the work you're putting in is doing things. People are always watching. They really truly are. And how many people have had an aha moment when a customer messages and they're like, I saw you post that thing, but you had no idea they saw you post it. Or they wanted to join your team because you showed up and you did, and you're like, I didn't know you were watching me. Who's had that happen? Put me in the chat. Put me in the chat if you were like, whoa, they are watching me. Or I like, were you surprised? No, because you put in the work. I mean, but yes, we are surprised. We love when that happens, right? That's because we're consistent and we're showing up. Okay, here's more tough love. This one's really tough love, okay? But I'm doing all the things, Tam, and there's still not, I'm not getting orders. I'm not getting teammates. I'm not getting, you know, blah, blah, blah. Are you doing all the things? Are you? Because I'm going to tell you, and this is where accountability buddies come in. This is where I have my mother. She is my biggest accountability buddy, because she makes me do hard things because she knows just how to push my buttons. We all need a buddy. Get somebody that will push your buttons. Get somebody that will give you tough love. When I say, like, some of you might be really offended, and I'm really sorry. Hear me out because I'm not trying to offend you. I'm trying to motivate you, okay? Because I've been here before. And when I was like, I'm doing everything, but I just can't get that last teammate, or like at the end of the month, if you like this cash sprint that we're working towards, if you have two people who are qualified, but you need that third, and you're just feeling, I'm doing everything and I'm just not getting there, or like you're still waiting for your first customer sales, but you're all 9%. So, you know, I think that we're beyond this, but this is also a team mentality too. Are you really doing all of it? Because, like, for example, we're primarily online here, right? When's the last time you did an in-person event? Think about that. Or are you an in-person event person? You do all the events, but have you invested in maybe learning how to do a reel? Or have you gone live publicly on your public page Maybe you've been avoiding that because it's so uncomfortable and it gives you hives. I'll never forget the first time I went live. I thought I was going to throw up. I thought I was going to throw up. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know these strangers, and I went live, but I got through it and I didn't throw up. And I kept going. And then every time I did it, it got easier and easier. But I did the hard things. You can do hard things, okay? And I get it. Life is busy. So, like, if you keep showing up online, but you're finding you're at a spot in your business where you're either flat or you're starting to decline, what haven't you been doing that you know you've been putting off? We all have that one thing. I have that one thing too. And I'll tell you what it was. It was the in-person event thing because I'm primarily online. But I thrive. I love being in person. I love talking to people. Your energy is contagious. Okay. We're going to talk a lot more about that too. So, what are you doing all the things, or do you need to push yourself to do that hard thing? Write down on your paper, write down that one hard thing you're not doing, and then put it on a sticky note and put it next to your bed and stare at it every night because you can be your own accountability ability buddy too. Put it on your nightstand right next to your lamp or next to your phone charger. Put some pressure on yourself. This is how I think, you guys. I am tough on myself because no one else is going to do it for me. All right. Speaking of that, this is a self-driven business. You are your own boss. That means the responsibility is entirely your own. No excuses. No excuses. No excuses, you guys. This. I love that I don't have a boss that is leaning over my shoulders or that I don't have to show up for different things. Like, of course, this is a full-time job, so I still have accountability and I have like a schedule, but I've determined that schedule. I love that freedom, right? But nobody is over my shoulder saying, Tamara, are you gonna go live? Tamara, are you gonna create some reels? Tamara, are you gonna plan that in-person event? You have to be your own biggest motivator. However you function, however you learn the best, figure that out, lock it in. I like to create little lists and check off the boxes. I like the sticky note effect. I think Essie did a big training on that. Find out how you are motivated and write things like make it concrete. Don't just have it in your head floating around. Make it concrete. So, think about how you're motivated.
You see, I think there's something
Oops.
powerful
Wait,
about somebody
we'll
that is
just watch
so
this.
resilient that they don't let their emotional state keep them from forward progress. I know people who have battled depression and they still got better anyways. People who lost their top talent, but their team got better anyway. I know people who gotten rejected 100 times, but they still got better anyway. People that didn't have connections and they still got better anyways, and didn't have the budget, but they still got better anyway. People that got ghosted and they still got better anyway. People that faced betrayal and they just got better anyway. And I just think something powerful happens when you and I commit to just getting better anyway. There's no setback, there's no struggle, there's no shortcoming that can stop your growth because you just keep showing up and you just keep learning and you just keep moving. And one day you'll look back and realize you got better anyways.
Isn't that powerful, you guys? I actually saw that reel today and I was like, oh, that's my brain. I like don't let anything slow me down. I don't make excuses. I mean, of course, there's always times where, I slow myself down a little bit, but at the end of the day, I'm always going to push forward because that's how hungry I am for this business. That's how hungry I am for my teammates to succeed. You know, um, resilience. This is a big word. This is a big part about the training. Your ability to bounce back from setbacks, adapt to change, and keep going, even when things get tough. It's not about never failing. It's about getting up every single time you do, right? Because we're going to fail. That's part of growth. We're going to miss our goals sometimes because that's part of growth. Our team volume is going to go down because life happens. Maybe we didn't maintain the rank that we achieved last month or the month before, but can we bounce back? Are we going to let that hold us down? Are we going to feel bad about it? Are we going to mope? Maybe for a little bit. You're allowed to mope for a little bit, but get over it really quickly because you are strong and you are your own boss. You are creating your momentum. They're not, they are failures because it's true. You do fail and then you move forward, but we don't have to call them failures all the time. But the point is you have to have the right mindset. All right, so resilience. What resilience really means, pushing through when you're tired, discouraged, or unsure. I have told my team this, and you guys all get to hear it again, and my team gets to hear me say it again. When I first started in 2020, I'm not going to lie. I worked so hard. I probably worked myself to the bone. And I'm not telling everybody to work yourself to the bone, but I knew that I needed to show up and put a lot of energy into my business immediately because I knew that that was going to create the foundation and the momentum. And if I just kind of put my toe in the water, I wasn't going to make any waves. I wanted to do a cannonball, and I did. I did. And it worked out for me because I built pretty quickly. I got people's attention. I got lots of customers, and that's what I wanted to do. So, are you dipping your toe in the water? Or are you a cannonball? Now, when you're tired, discouraged, or unsure, I did have sleepless nights. I probably worked too hard, but to me, it was worth it, right? We will talk about self-care later. But that was a big one, really, this is your business. How bad do you want it? I'll say it 1,000 times more. Learning from failure instead of letting it define you. That was basically what we talked about on the last screen. Like just use it to create your next step, right? Staying grounded in who you are, even when life shakes you. I wanted to just kind of make an extra blurb about this because I think a lot of times well, in fact, I did a training with my last company in person. It was at a leadership summit, and I kind of called the whole crowd out because I had some people saying, I heard murmurs of like her success is because she has a ton of followers. Her success is because this or that. And I wanted to say, you don't know me. You don't know how I work my business, because I'm human too. I go through a lot. And trust me, my success was not because I have a lot of followers. In fact, to prove that, I no longer even use that account. I've completely gone away from all those followers. So I just want to say that, when life shakes you, I'm just going to read this. I knew I would start to babble. So I am human too. I've been through a lot. I choose not to let those parts of me cross over into my business. I'll just say it out loud because I'm being honest. Brittany's shared her story with us, so I can share my story with you. I've dealt with an eating disorder in my life. I was divorced suddenly after 6 years of being married. I didn't know it was coming. A lot of things happened and continue to happen, but I don't let that cross over into my business because my business is my business. I'm here to grow with my business each and every day. That doesn't mean that those life events haven't molded me into who I am today. So I'm just saying that there are we have hard things that come up in our life, but our business is our business. And how badly do you want that business? I mean, if they're like life happens is what I'm trying to say. And if you are resilient, you're going to keep pushing, you're going to keep showing up. And again, I'm not trying to tell you to work yourself thin because I do have off days, but I'm still touching my business. So whatever you're going through, so, I actually use some of those really hard times. I actually leaned into my business because of those hard times. I actually used it as like, oh, okay, this sucks on this side, so I'm just gonna go pour my energy over here, right? Use that as momentum, use that as fire to drive you. Choosing courage over comfort, over and over again, courage over comfort. If we're staying comfortable, we're not growing. Adapting and adjusting instead of giving up. I hope you guys love me. I promise you I love you. This is tough love. But that's what this is how my brain really thinks, you guys. Okay, resilience. Key traits of resilient people. Optimism with grit. Again, you guys are all resilient. You're here, trust me. And this is just like good reminders because as leaders, we also have to think about our teams, right? So you might have all these characteristics, but how are you going to lean into your team to help them get through, to help them build up their resilience? Emotional strength, feeling the feelings without letting them stop you. Again, all that stuff. Remember all this energy over here that kind of sucked? Poured it over here. Self-awareness, knowing your limits, but also knowing your power, right? Like I know I don't, like I've actually had this conversation with a few of my teammates recently. I'm not making reels every single day. I'm not posting every day. I do show up in my stories every day. That's a non-negotiable for me. But I'm aware of my limits. I know when I need to step back and take a breather, or I know like looking at my calendar, like okay, I got travel going on here. I need to bulk up my energy here because I don't want that momentum to die down. So always plan ahead and kind of think through your month before the month starts, because then otherwise, if you're starting at the beginning of the month, you're already behind, right? We all know that. It's easy to say and hard to do, but it is important if you want to continue to grow with your business. Persistence, because quitting isn't an option when the goal matters. Quitting isn't an option. It's not an option. Slowing down isn't an option for me. I want to keep going. I want to keep helping people. I want to watch my team find success. I like, there's nothing better than watching people grow and find joy and unlock their dreams. Like I know I can think of 10 teammates off the top of my head that they want freedom. They want this to be their full-time job. I will be celebrating with them when they hit that, when they can quit their job, whatever it is. That's what helps keep me driving forward because that's a good feeling for all of us, right? Again, know your why, know your goals. We talked about it at the beginning. We can reevaluate at the end. We can always shift. We're always changing and evolving. Resilience sounds like this is hard, but I can handle hard things. Today was rough, but tomorrow I'll try again, right? I mean, this is just being a human. All right, this is important. I take care of myself so I can show up for others. This is a hard one for a lot of us. We're women. We're women. We do everything for everybody else. We're women. But guess what? That's our brand. So use that to your advantage. Think about that. Take care of myself so I can show up for others. We are a brand that sells wellness products and skincare products. And we're promoting working out and using the L-carnitine shots and finding momentum and getting better sleep with the restore and recharge. I mean, use this. This is take your audience through your journey while you're taking care of yourself. I actually started doing that recently. I would say the last month or two. Every time I work out, I'm posting it in my stories because it's showing not only it's holding myself accountable, it's showing my teammates what I do as an individual person to show up with the energy that I have every day. I take care of myself. I work out. I tried my best to get sleep. I eat healthy. I make good choices about grabbing salmon instead of something else, like these are personal decisions of mine and I really had to lock because we all go through ruts. I mean, let's talk about the holidays. The holidays are hard. We all have to reset after the holidays, but it shows, right? We're sluggish and the winter's hard, but I know now that I need a mindset. I need a clear mind and a healthy body to show up for my team, to have the energy to devote to this business. And again, this is a high level training, you guys. I wouldn't just say this to anybody. You are here because you care. And this is our brand. So use it to your advantage and you will feel better. This is how I think. This is how I think. Okay, my toxic trait. We all have our own, like, I'm going to suck this. Well, let's go over it. Reacting instead of processing. We all grow and develop, right? Um, Thinking I can do it all on my own. I cannot. Pushing myself to burnout. These are toxic traits. I could have filled the screen with toxic traits. I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. Absolutely not. We all struggle. I struggle, but again, this is my business, so I'm not going to let all my struggles leak out into my business because if I let that do that, that would weigh me down. In fact, that would weigh my team down. Energy is contagious. So identifying your less glamorous traits because these traits don't make us bad people. They just are who we are, right? But if you can identify something that you feel like maybe holds you back a little bit, um, tackle them head on and it's going to help you grow. Like, for example, reacting instead of processing. When I'm coaching and growing with my team, I really started focusing on asking questions to really help me listen and let them talk. Thinking I can do it all on my own. When I first got started, I felt alone. So for a long time, I felt like I had to do everything. I had to create the visuals for my team and I had to do all the team trainings. Well, I'm not going to lie, it took me coming to this new business to kind of change that mindset because I was trapped in it. Admittedly, I was trapped in it. So now, instead of me feeling like I have to lead the whole team, no, we're full of leaders. We're all here. We all get to lean on each other, right? So again, every day I have to remind myself, like I have anxieties too, you guys. We all have anxieties. Again, we're women. Use those things that like make you take a deep breath and then just think about, okay, how can I tackle that head on? When you're thinking, oh, I'm doing that thing, because my toxic traits make me cringe. So whenever I'm thinking I'm doing that thing, I've kind of figured out self-development things to help me push beyond those. All right, so back to goals. Bite-sized, big goals. I like that. I thought that was kind of catchy because we all have really big goals, but if you really are just looking at the big picture, you're going to get paralyzed. You're going to be like, oh, I can't do it. It's not happening. So you have to take it one step at a time, one day at a time, one goal at a time. When I learned the comp plan in any industry or like, I really look at it as baby steps. I look at, like, for example, right now, myself and my team, we're working towards Emerald. And I have to know, what do I need to do? What does my team need to do? How can I show up to hit that? And that is my bite size, big goal that I'm working towards because, of course, that's not my biggest goal. We're not slowing down. We're not slowing down. We're going together. But I can't think about that huge goal because it would overwhelm me. So wherever you're at right now, if a lot of you said you're at 15%, what's it going to take to get to the next percentage? What's it going to take to get to director? Maybe a lot of you are shooting towards director right now, right? Break down those goals. Have them be bite-sized, but don't lose sight of your big goals because that's important. That's what propels you. That's what drives you forward. That's what makes you show up every single day. All right. How are we doing on time? Oh my God. I did not run through this. Sorry, I'm going to try to pick it up. It's not about me, it's about them. This is so true with everything in our business. It's not about me, it's about them. It's about our customers, it's about our teammates, it's about how we can serve them, how we can teach them. Is this helping them? We don't just show up and be like, hey, I want to get paid today. Buy from me. You know what? Some people kind of show up like that and they're not going to move forward. Really, you have to really switch to. So, for example, when I lost my job and I didn't have any money, I needed money, so I really had to be like, okay, Tamara, like you need to just push that way down and don't even think about that. Again, baby steps. What are you going to do to start building, right? So let's talk about a servant mindset. How does this help my customers? How will this support my team? Okay, servant mindset. People before profit, impact before ego. So like service before spotlight and encourage leadership, right? So first off, let me say that I am a big advocate for shouting yourself out, though. Like, absolutely celebrate every single win and cheer yourself from the rooftops because you're working hard and you deserve to be celebrated, okay? There's two different topics here, but when you're leading and guiding, I mean, Brittany is a perfect example of servant mindset. Truly, that's what I was saying at the beginning of this call. She leads with her heart. She cares about us. She wants us to grow and develop. That's what being a servant really leading with a servant heart. Lead with humility, show up, add value. It's not about making a sale. But be yourself, okay? Don't like think, oh my God, Tamara, this is so overwhelming. This is a lot. Because it is a lot. I am a lot. You asked to get in my head. But just be who you are because you really are enough. Really. Your people love you. People, your customers are watching you because you're you. Your teammates are learning from you every single day and they look up to you and you're working and growing together because of you. You're not Brittany and you're not me and you're not your neighbor. You are you and people love you for you, okay? Servant mindset builds trust, loyalty, and long-term growth. In leadership and in life, people don't follow titles, they follow hearts. Brittany could have had the smallest title on the planet, but I knew when she was coming to pharmacy because of her heart, her mindset, her devotion, her work ethic. I was like, "Where are you going? I'm coming." That's that speaks volumes to who she is as a leader and a person. And again, I was like, every day I want to be like Brittany. Really, think about that. What are you like? Look up to people, you guys. We all have to have leaders and mentors and people to inspire us. Don't compare. Comparison's a thief of joy. Always continue to be inspired because we all have to grow. The glass is always half full. It's not empty. It's never empty. It's never half empty because our energy is contagious. And when you're a leader and when you're showing up in this business or when you're showing up to sell to your customers or promote to your customers, if you are having a glass half empty day, flip it upside down because that energy is going to come off. And I'm just being honest. So just go for a walk, take a deep breath, get a little exercise, go treat yourself to something fun, whatever it is. Maybe it's a piece of chocolate, maybe it's a new purse. The glass is always half full. Even in responses to teammates, and like we're not trying to be toxic positive over here, truly, but whatever we're presenting, we have to be empathetic. Of course, we're going to lead with our hearts, but let's keep it positive, right? I'm constantly learning, evolving, and adapting. That's part of this world. There is really no perfect formula. And as you noticed, I didn't come into this presentation and said, here's what I do every single day. Here's what I do every month. Because that is up to you and your lifestyle, because what I do isn't going to match what you do. You can talk to me on the side, or you can talk to Brittany, or you can make your own plan and say, hey, what do you think about this? Or talk to your upline. Everybody has an upline. We all do. So, work with them because what I'm doing is really more of a mindset and a resilience thing. And I'm not going to stop, right? Are you going to stop? I don't think so because you're here. All right, going back to your paper. So, like a boss, because you are a boss, this is your business. Just take a look at the homework, review your traits that you wrote down, circle some, cross them out, adapt. Use the ones that I said are my toxic traits, and figure out how you're going to develop those into tools. Define your goals even harder. Write it down, and then take that 1 to 10 and figure out what you need to do. Maybe if you're at a 10, think about what you're going to do to stay at a 10 because staying at a 10 takes hard work too. And I just want to say I'm proud of you. Thank you for taking time. I know this got long, but I'm passionate and I love what I do. And like I said, energy is contagious. So I hope that this helped fill your cup a little bit and help give you confidence because you are here and you are doing this. And that means you're an amazing leader. So, and be proud of yourself. So thank you.
Oh my gosh, this was so freaking amazing. Like, I was sitting here thinking, I'm like, everyone wants to eat, but is everyone willing to hunt? Is everyone willing to go out there? Everyone's like, oh, I want this, but are they doing it? And that was like the thing that kept coming to my mind because we have all the trainings, right? Everyone's like, oh, Brittany, how do you do this? Like I have some magic thing, and it's not a magic. It's really about not quitting and showing up when I don't want to. And that's really what it's been like over the years. And I've seen that for you, and I've seen that success story for so many people, right? It's not about, because you can't beat someone who doesn't give up. And so many people give up. They don't give it a full chance. They don't go all in. And the foundation really is mindset. So we have all the different trainings. And of course, we're going to learn new things, and the industry changes, and you approach things differently, and you stay open minded to that. But it is really about showing up. And yeah, I do touch my business every single day. Of course, I'm still going on trips and having vacations and self care and stuff, but I have the minimums that I'm doing as far as checking in. And so, what do those minimums look like for you? Because if you have a goal, and you maybe you don't have, like, maybe you don't, have the big crazy scary goal, but if you do, executive boss, you are going to have to show up different. You do, and so that's something you ask yourself, because success looks different to every single person. So I really appreciate this so much. And maybe if you guys have questions, you can drop them in the 9% chat, and if Tam has time, she can answer them, or comments. I'm sure we'll all think of some things, but I think that it is, I think we all have a lot to think about. I know I do myself too. So I think it's a lot to process, and a lot of really good information, and just like looking at yourself. So thanks so much.
Thank you guys for showing up. If you don't mind, Brittany, if you want to stop recording, I feel like that was maybe a little bit of a heavy presentation. So if anybody would like to share their thoughts, and if you don't, that's okay. If you want some time to process, but or if anybody has any questions, I will hang out for a little bit if anybody does want to chat.
Yeah, definitely. If anyone wants to, I'll stop recording. And if anyone wants to jump on and say any feedback or anything like that.